Here is what young coaches get wrong about football practice and how they conduct it. Coming up right now. Hey everybody, welcome to Elite Athletes TV. I'm Mike Pulaski, former 11-year pro quarterback and quarterbacks coach here at EliteAthletesTV.com. I played football for a long time. 3 years in high school, 5 years in college, 11 years professionally. I've been around the game as an announcer, and there's one thing that younger coaches get wrong about practice all the time. I've seen it firsthand, and I want to teach you. But first, if you love talking about football, if you love learning new football concepts, if you love improving your football IQ, please subscribe to the channel, ring the bell. That way we can talk football all the time. Give me a thumbs up if you're ready to learn about practice planning, and leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you guys what you think about this video or any of the other videos that we've done, how you guys conduct practice. Make sure you share this out. I appreciate all the help that we've gotten from you in terms of supporting this channel, and we'd love to help as many young athletes as we can. So share this out. Make sure young athletes are seeing it, that they understand that there is a place for them to go to learn about the game of football. Now, let's talk about what coaches get wrong. I want you to think about what the sport of football is all about. Football, when you boil it down to the ultimate single play, is about execution. It's about getting your assignment right with full effort on this single play. Now, that said, I see coaches all the time, and I've coached high school level, I've coached with college coaches, I've coached internationally, and the one thing that a lot of coaches get wrong is they're all about volume. They're about rep after rep after rep after rep after rep, which is fine. Repping something is how you improve it, but it's not fine if those reps are just for volume. Running, being a marathoner, being a long-distance runner, being a swimmer, a long-distance swimmer, a lot of that, the majority of that, is about getting volume in your training, right? How many laps did you swim today? How many miles did you run today? It's that volume so that your body gets used to, your nervous system gets used to putting those kind of miles or those kind of laps on in the pool. And so that is a huge part of improving your performance in the sport. Are there technical pieces to it? Yes. You want to get your foot placement right, your foot strake. You want to get your knee lift right. You want to get your hand right when you're swimming. So you want to get all those things right. But it's more about volume of training, because that's what's going to happen when you run long volumes or swim long races. It's all about, do you have the stamina? Is your nervous system ready for it? Can you get it done? Football, as I said, is all about execution. You want to be perfect with your execution on this individual play. And so if you're practicing football like runners are practicing running, then you're missing out on the fine points and the fine details that you need to execute flawlessly in the game. Football is super skill specific. So whether you're an offensive lineman, whether you're a defensive back, whether you're a quarterback, whether you're a receiver, running back, it's all about having that specific set of skills that you need to, again, execute flawlessly when you're under pressure in the game. And so you need to teach those skills, and you need to teach all the nuances of those skills, and then you need to get your athletes, your players, to rep them, to execute them perfectly. And I go back to one of the greatest coaches in football history here when I talk about the way to practice. Vince Lombardi said, and this is a well-known quote in football, "Practice does not make perfect. Only perfect practice makes perfect." And then another quote from him was, "You don't do things right once in a while. You do things right all the time." That's what I'm talking about in terms of practice. I've been on teams where they just try to run through plays and say, oh, we'll correct it in film. And I know that that's kind of common thinking out there today. But unless you get it corrected where you're executing it perfectly, before game and get those reps executing it perfectly, then you're going to see those mistakes transfer into gameplay. And so as a coach, I like to correct kids in the spot, in the moment, get proper execution so that they understand what it is that they got wrong, how to improve it, how to make themselves play better for that play, and make sure that they have that feeling, that understanding, that sense of what they need to do so that next rep in practice, they can execute it perfectly. And then once you build several perfect reps of it in a row, now you've got something locked in for game time. The pros, and I love this quote. This is from our strength coach here at EliteAthletesTV.com, Ethan Banning. It's not his quote, but he uses it all the time, and I think it's fantastic. An amateur will practice a skill until they get it right. A pro will practice it until they can't get it wrong. That's the essence of what it is that I'm talking about here. Perfection in execution. You practice it, you hone it, you rep it perfectly to make sure that you are performing it perfectly when the time comes that you need it in the game. Pros get paid to play the game. So they are going to practice something until they absolutely own that skill, executed perfectly. They are always looking for the littlest of advantage to improve their game, from diet nutrition to sleep timing to, you've seen them wear the low oxygen masks, the cryotherapy, everything. Any little thing they can add when it comes to execution of plays or execution of assignments or skills, you'll see just a little tweak of a hand position, a little tweak of a grip, a little tweak of a foot position or a first step. All those things. They're looking for refining all those fine little details to become better players. And so if they were just doing volumes and volumes and volumes of reps, they wouldn't be getting that kind of perfection in their skills. And so if the pros are practicing that way, then you need to think about practicing that same way yourself. The other thing about pros is they're pretty coachable. They can see something on film, they can pick it up, they can make a change and institute that into your game. Younger athletes don't have the reps, they don't have the experience to be able to do that. So that's why it's even more important to practice to perfection. A huge part of doing that is an athlete's ability to focus. And at the younger levels, that's where we should be putting attention, is teaching our athletes how to focus, to execute, to do the things they have to, pay attention in the moment right now. The old saying, one play at a time, is really tough to do, especially as a younger player because there's so many distractions. But teaching your athletes to focus down to that single play, to that single moment, it's the only thing they can control, and it's the absolute thing that will make them a better player, is focusing on this rep, this moment, right now, because it's the only thing you have control over. And so teaching them that, getting them in the moment, having them be mindful of what they are doing will make them better athletes. And as coaches, we should focus more on that with younger athletes. In the moment, getting it right. What does it feel like? What are you thinking? What are you executing? And having them correct that on the spot so they can practice those perfect reps. A way to do that, slim down your playbook. Don't try to run 200 plays. Bring it down. High school level, 20, 30 plays in a game is a lot of plays. I actually talked about developing the perfect game plan, and I'll put a card up here, depending on the level. The more advanced they are, the more experienced they are, the more plays you can put in. So college, you can add some plays. NFL, you get a ton of plays. But find the number that works for your team so they can execute and get the reps they need in practice while executing them all perfectly. I think the key is you don't try to be good at everything. As a coach with your offense, as these players, you know what you're good at. You be great at that. Develop greatness on the things that you're good at, and then try to build those things that you're not so good at along the way. But the reps that you need to put in are perfect reps to develop all those skills together. So my thoughts as a quarterback who did it for a long, long time, got paid to do it, the way that I improved and the way that I evolved into becoming a better player than I was when I started originally. Hopefully that helps you out in the way that you're training for your sport, whether it be football or any other sport. I appreciate you guys sticking around. You guys that are still here now are like the 1% on YouTube. And so give me a thumbs up because you guys are awesome. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. We're going to be bringing out new stuff to help your game all the time, but subscribe. Make sure you ring that bell. You'll get notified every time we have new stuff. And leave me a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you, your thoughts on training, what you do to improve. I'm always looking to improve, so if you've got something that'll pick up my game and help the kids that I coach now, I would love to hear it. But some quarterback training, football training, hopefully we improved some of your football skills and sport-specific skills and made you a better player. I'll talk to you again soon.